Hello and welcome back to English Mindset. I'm truly happy you are here with me today. Maybe you are listening while walking outside, cooking at home, or taking a short break from your busy schedule. No matter where you are, this moment is for you. Today we are going to talk about something very close to my heart: how to talk in English. English has completely changed my life. It opened doors I never thought I could walk through. It gave me opportunities to travel, make new friends from all over the world, and build a bigger dream for myself. But let me be honest with you, in the beginning, I was scared. I didn't know many words. My pronunciation was shaky. My accent was strong and different. Every time I tried to speak, my voice trembled and I worried people might laugh. Still, something inside me refused to give up. I knew that if I stayed silent, nothing would change. So I decided to take small steps. Just like a baby learning to walk, I stumbled many times. Sometimes I felt embarrassed. Sometimes I wanted to stop. But every time I fell, I reminded myself that falling is part of learning. And every time I got up again, I was a little stronger than before. If you feel nervous when speaking, I understand you. If you feel afraid of mistakes, I have been there too. But here's what I learned: mistakes are not signs of weakness. They are proof that you are trying. And trying is the only way to grow. So, my friend, as we begin today's journey, I want you to believe one thing. If I could learn to talk in English, so can you. The road may feel long, but step by step, you will get there. And one day, you will look back and realize how far you have come. When people begin learning English, one of the biggest fears they carry is the fear of making mistakes. Maybe you know this feeling very well. You open your mouth to speak, but your brain hesitates. You worry that your grammar isn't correct, that your accent sounds strange, or that someone might laugh at you. And so, instead of speaking, you stay quiet. I understand this fear because I felt it too. But let me share a powerful truth: mistakes are not failures, mistakes are teachers. Every time you make a mistake, your brain receives feedback. You learn what works and what doesn't. Think about how children learn their first language. They don't start speaking with perfect grammar or perfect pronunciation. They experiment, they copy, they try, and of course, they make mistakes. Yet no one laughs at them. Instead, people encourage them, and little by little, their language grows. You can learn in exactly the same way. I like to compare speaking English to learning how to swim. At the beginning, the water feels deep and scary. You are afraid of sinking, so you hesitate to jump in. But if you never enter the water, you will never learn how to swim. The moment you take that first brave step, you realize the water is not so dangerous. You may swallow some water, you may lose balance, but each attempt makes you stronger. Mistakes in English work the same way. They are like splashes in the water, uncomfortable at first, but necessary for growth. When I was practicing English, I often said things incorrectly. Sometimes people corrected me, sometimes they didn't. At first, I felt embarrassed. But then I realized something important: nobody remembered my mistakes except me. People moved on quickly, but I was the one holding on to fear. From that moment, I decided to see mistakes as stepping stones. Each one carried me closer to fluency. So, the next time you feel nervous, take a deep breath and speak anyway. If a mistake happens, smile and learn from it. Remember, the only real mistake is staying silent. Every other mistake is a lesson, and every lesson brings you closer to confidence. If speaking is the goal, then listening is the doorway that takes you there. Many learners think that in order to speak better, they must only focus on speaking. But the truth is, the more you listen, the easier speaking becomes. Listening trains your ears, your brain, and even your mouth, because the sounds you hear are the sounds you later try to reproduce. Think of listening as music. When you listen to a song again and again, you don't study each note. Your brain naturally remembers the rhythm, the melody, and the lyrics. In the same way, when you listen to English every day, your brain starts to catch the rhythm of the language. You learn how words connect, how sentences rise and fall, and how feelings are expressed through tone. Even when you don't understand every single word, your brain is learning patterns that will help you later. When I first started learning, I watched English movies without subtitles. At the beginning, I understood almost nothing. It felt frustrating, but I kept going. I paid attention to expressions, gestures, and the way people used their voices. Over time, my ears became sharper. One day, I realized I could understand an entire sentence without translation. That was a breakthrough moment, and it gave me the courage to keep practicing. So, how can you use listening to improve your English? Start small. Listen to short podcasts or songs. Don't worry about understanding everything. Just let the sounds wash over you. Then, repeat the same content again another day. Each time, you will catch more details. You can also shadow what you hear repeat immediately after the speaker, like an echo. This exercise is powerful because it helps your brain connect listening and speaking at the same time. Remember, listening is not passive. It's active training for your future conversations. The more English you hear, the more natural it will feel when you finally speak. So surround yourself with English, podcasts, YouTube videos, songs, conversations, audiobooks, anything. Make English the background music of your life, and soon speaking will no longer feel like a mountain, but like a natural part of who you are. Listening builds the foundation, but speaking is the bridge you must walk across. Many learners wait until they feel ready before they try to speak. They think, I'll practice later when I know more words, when my grammar is better, when my accent is perfect. But that moment never comes. The best time to practice speaking is now, even if you feel unprepared. One of the most effective methods I discovered was talking to myself. At first, it felt strange. I would walk around the house describing what I was doing. I am making tea. I am washing the dishes. I am opening the window. I also asked myself simple questions. How do I feel today? What do I need to do this afternoon? Then I answered in English. Slowly, these small exercises trained my brain to think directly in English instead of translating. What started as short phrases grew into full sentences, and eventually into little conversations with myself. It may sound funny, but it really works. Of course, practicing with real people is even more powerful. If you have friends who also want to improve their English, make an agreement. When you meet, speak only in English. I remember meeting friends at a cafe where we challenged ourselves to use no words from our native language. At first, it was awkward. We stumbled, we searched for words, we laughed at our mistakes. But soon, it became fun. We encouraged each other, and every meeting felt like a small victory. If you don't have friends who practice English, technology can help. Join online language groups, find conversation partners, or even talk with voice assistants in English. The key is not perfection but practice. Every conversation, no matter how short, no matter how simple, strengthens your speaking muscles. Remember this: fluency is not built in silence. Fluency is built in action. The more you speak, the more confident you become. The words may not come out perfectly at first, but with each attempt, they will flow more naturally. So, talk to yourself, talk to your friends, talk to anyone who will listen. Just talk. Because every word you speak is a step forward on your journey to English fluency. One of the biggest misunderstandings about learning English is the belief that you need big, complicated words to speak well. Many learners wait until they know hundreds of advanced terms before they try to talk. But here's the truth: simple words are powerful. You don't need to impress people with long vocabulary. What matters is communication, expressing your ideas clearly so others can understand. Think about children. They don't know difficult words, yet they communicate effectively. They point, they smile, they use simple sentences like "I want water" or "let's play." And everyone understands them. In the same way, you can have meaningful conversations with basic English. Instead of focusing on fancy vocabulary, focus on clarity and confidence. When I was learning, I often thought, if I don't know the perfect word, I can't speak. That mindset stopped me. But later I realized that even if I didn't know the perfect word, I could always find another way to explain. For example, if I didn't know the word umbrella, I could say, "the thing you use when it rains." The other person would understand. Communication is flexible, and there's always another path to meaning. Now let's talk about confidence. Confidence doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being willing to try. When you speak, stand tall, breathe deeply, and smile. Even if your grammar isn't perfect, people will feel your positive energy. And when people feel your energy, they connect with you. I remember the first time I spoke English to a group of strangers. My hands were shaking, my heart was racing, and I made plenty of mistakes. But I forced myself to continue. To my surprise, nobody laughed. In fact, people listened patiently. Some even encouraged me. That day I understood something important: most people are not judging you. They admire your courage. So, my advice is this: use simple words, speak with confidence, and don't wait until you are perfect. Confidence grows every time you open your mouth. And the more you speak, the stronger your confidence will become. Remember, English is not about showing how clever you are. It's about sharing your thoughts, your feelings, and your heart. If you want your English to grow stronger day by day, you need daily practice. Not once a week, not only in class, but every single day. The good news is, you don't need hours of study. Small, simple habits can make a huge difference over time. One of the best methods is reading out loud. When you read silently, your brain only processes the meaning of the words. But when you read aloud, you train your eyes, your brain, and your mouth at the same time. Your tongue learns how to form sounds, your voice practices rhythm, and your confidence grows. Even 10 minutes a day can create real progress. Pick a short article, a story, or even your favorite song lyrics, and read them out loud with energy. Another powerful tool is keeping a journal in English. Every evening, write a few sentences about your day. At first, it can be very simple. I went to work. I ate noodles. I watched TV. Over time, you will naturally begin to write longer, more complex sentences. The act of writing helps you think in English, and looking back at old entries will show you how much you have improved. Set small daily goals. For example, today you might focus on learning 5 new words. Tomorrow, you might spend 10 minutes practicing pronunciation. The next day, you might practice a short conversation. These little steps create momentum. And with each goal you achieve, your confidence grows. Don't forget to celebrate your progress. Did you manage to order food in English? Wonderful! Did you understand a new phrase in a movie? That's progress. Celebrate those small victories, because they remind you that your effort is working. Consistency is more important than perfection. Even 10 or 15 minutes of practice every day is better than 3 hours once a week. Just like exercising your body, exercising your English daily will make it stronger. So, build your routine. Read aloud, write a journal, set small goals, and celebrate your wins. Step by step, you'll discover that English is not just something you study, it's something you live every day. One of the most powerful steps in becoming fluent is learning to think in English. At the beginning, most learners translate every sentence in their head. You think in your native language first, then try to change it into English. This process is slow and tiring, and sometimes the sentence doesn't even make sense. The secret to fluency is breaking free from translation. How do you do that? Start with simple thoughts. When you wake up in the morning, instead of thinking, "Homne troi non qua," try to think, "Today is so hot." When you are hungry, don't translate from your language, just think, "I'm hungry." These short, everyday sentences are the building blocks of fluency. With time, you'll notice your brain switching to English automatically. Another strategy that helped me was creating an English environment around myself. Even though I was not living in an English-speaking country, I surrounded myself with the language. I listened to English songs while cooking. I watched movies and TV shows in English, sometimes with subtitles and sometimes without. I read simple news articles online. Little by little, English became part of my daily world. This kind of immersion is powerful because it makes English feel natural, not just something from a classroom. Your brain starts to notice patterns. You hear how people greet each other, how they express emotions, how they tell stories. Without effort, you begin to absorb grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. I also practiced shadowing. This means listening to a sentence in English and immediately repeating it, like an echo. It may feel difficult at first, but it trains your mouth and ears together. Shadowing improves your pronunciation, your rhythm, and your confidence. It's like singing along to your favorite song until you know the lyrics by heart. The more you immerse yourself in English, the more natural it becomes. Soon, you'll catch yourself thinking in English without trying. And that's the moment when you realize English is no longer just something you study. It's something you live. As we come to the final part of today's journey, I want to remind you of something very important. Learning English is not just about language, it's about life. Every word you learn, every sentence you speak, every mistake you make, they are all steps toward a bigger world. Sometimes, the journey will feel slow. There will be days when you think, I'm not improving. I've been practicing for so long, but nothing is changing. I want you to know that this feeling is normal. Growth often happens quietly, beneath the surface, like the roots of a tree spreading underground. You may not see it right away, but the roots are getting stronger, preparing the tree to grow tall. Your English is the same. Even when progress feels invisible, it is still happening. Always remember your why. Why did you start learning English? Was it for your career? To travel? To connect with new people? To open doors for the future? Hold that reason close to your heart, because on the hard days, your why will keep you moving forward. I encourage you to see English as a bridge. It connects you to new experiences, new friendships, and new opportunities. It allows you to understand the world in a different way and to share your own story with people who might never have heard it otherwise. That is a powerful gift. And here's one more truth: confidence is not something you wait for, it's something you build. Every time you speak, even if it's imperfect, you are building confidence. Every time you listen, write, or practice, you are investing in your future self. So, keep going. Don't measure your progress by how fast you reach the top of the mountain. Measure it by the courage you show in each step. One day, you will look back and realize how far you have come. You will smile, maybe even laugh at the memory of being afraid, and you will say proudly, I did it. Thank you for walking this journey with me. Believe in yourself, be kind to yourself, and never stop trying. The world is waiting to hear your voice in English.